This is Sarah with PickFactor.com, here talking to Evan the Butcher Cuts from Spike TV's Fight Master Bellator MMA. Evan, can you explain your name, the Butcher?
The Butcher, yeah, I kind of got the name in the gym, I guess. Before I was doing mixed martial arts full time, I was working in just an Albertsons, the grocery store down here in Texas, and they had a butcher's block. I used to work in the butcher's block, and kind of, I guess, my last name Cuts, the guys knowing that I did MMA, kind of were laughing about, like, oh, you should be the Butcher, and then I kind of brought it back to the gym, and it evolved on its own, and it's kind of just stuck.
That's cool. How did you get started in MMA?
I got started in mixed martial arts when I was about 17. I did some traditional martial arts beforehand, but really, I guess, what drew me to MMA was the excitement of the adventure, especially in like a 17-year-old, kid who growing up I always really wanted to see the adventure. I played a lot of video games growing up, read a lot of comic books, and still on occasion play some Magic the Gathering and all that jazz. But really wanted that adventure, and I was able to find that through MMA. When I saw it on TV, I was like, man, I don't know if it gets crazier than that.
Evan, how important would you say it is to have a good coach?
Coaching is everything. In MMA, practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes perfect. I see these guys all the time that are coming up from the lower levels that have someone who they call coach when that person's never really done MMA or even really competed. I mean, I see, and you want to talk about safety aspect, the videos online of these kids every now and then calling it MMA training when really all you're doing is just waiting for someone, to the broken jaw or nose, because first of all, what y'all aren't doing, what you're doing isn't right, and second of all, what you're doing is going to get you hurt.
Mm-hmm. You won Amateur Fighter of the Year in 2010, and when did you go pro?
I went pro in the next year in 2011. Yeah, I guess it was a little ESPN has a little local blog in Dallas that one of the guys who had been following me, I guess, picked up on. So it was nice to get that recognition, especially, previously deciding that, I wanted to go pro in 2011. I don't think a ton of amateur fights are necessarily a good thing. I'm not saying experience isn't a good thing, but I think you should be getting your experience with your partners in the gym and not trying to get it at a fight. You're supposed to be ready and go once the time the fight's coming. That's not the time to learn it.
What do you think about before a fight, and how do you prepare?
I'm sorry, I apologize. You said out there.
What do you think about before a fight, and how do you prepare?
Well, what do I think about before a fight? I'm a Christian guy. For me, fighting is definitely a means to an end. It's a way not only to support my family, but it's a way for me to get my, try to be a light where there's not a lot of light. I think in the world of MMA, it's nice because you meet so many different people and try to be an example to those people. I think is a good thing. But more on the lines of fighting, before the fight, I mean, and when I say before the fight, that can be anywhere from a few weeks out to a few weeks in. I guess the one thought runs through my head is, show your training for sure. Don't choke and not show your training, because even if you're outskilled, then you're outskilled. If you just choke, you're like, man, I could have beat that guy. I could have, woulda. That's the worst feeling ever. So I guess for me before a fight, I'm definitely I do not want to feel that feeling.
What is your strong point in your fighting style?
My fighting style, I'm really, 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 I would say that I guess I'm really against trying to claim his style, just because I play a lot of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu when I fight, and a lot of grappling. You could definitely call me a grappler, but I'm doing my best to always be improving. It's the game's really, really left that grappling style. I'm seeing a lot more striking and counter wrestling being the dominant parts in the game now.
Have you had any bad injuries after a fight that you've had to overcome?
My worst injury up to date actually hasn't been in a fight. It wasn't even really an injury. I had some stuff that happened I'm not supposed to talk about, but before that, I got an infection in my right leg of MRSA when I was down in the Bahamas.
Wow.
It's staffed on steroids. It's been, I guess, a week in a hospital with a PICC line.
Wow.
And so a week on that with antibiotics and painkillers, basically. And then I spent about a week in the hospital, and then about a month with the PICC line, getting antibiotics Renee every day via PICC line, and then about a month on antibiotics pills. But, the doctor was saying if I would have come in like a day later, it would have been my leg, or, God forbid, it hit my bloodstream, in my life.
Wow, that's crazy. Can you tell us what was a $100,000 prize, a spot in the Bellator MMA competition, and the first ever title of Fight Master mean to you?
It's a huge deal because there's a few things going on with that. A lot of people, I think, don't understand it. A lot of people are used to the Ultimate Fighters format, where it's a $100,000 contract. Now when we're fighting on the show, we're fighting for $100,000 cash money, a spot in the next Bellator tournament. And with this spot in the next Bellator tournament, if you proceed through all that, then hopefully they're looking at a shot at Ben Askren.
Right. Thank you, Evan. You can catch Evan by tuning into Spike TV's Fight Master Bellator MMA Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. This is Sarah with PickFactor.com, inside Bellator Fight Master with Evan Kutz. Follow Evan's journey here on PickFactor.com.